figure with the baby is aloft came from a photograph of your father holding you up when you were born, or?
I was, yeah, when I was a little kid. I have it, I can show it to you.
Uh-huh. So, is that a reference to in the Andrians, the figure holding the jug of wine up against the sky? Is it an intentional reference?
I don't think it was intentional at the time.
Uh-huh.
It was just a way of, making an interesting form, two figures together. I don't think it came from that, but I did realize that happened, and that I've said it, and when it became more, in this case it wasn't probably deliberate, but in the other pictures where it occurs, it is a deliberate thing, and it refers to, not to this painting particularly, but to the photograph.
Right. So is there a...
So this wasn't conscious emulation of the photograph, but once I decided, when I realized it, I was referring back to the photograph, not to this, if that makes any sense.
Yep. And when you sat down to this, you just sat down with brushes and paint. It wasn't something where you composed figures for hours and worked out a composition with the relationships among the figures. It was just spontaneous.
It was an abstract expressionist thing, you start off and start painting it. I don't know. I just don't know how it happened, really.
And there's not been too many attempts to ever work in that mode again, have there?
Well, there are some photographs of one of Idyl 2, I think, where I'm working right off of this, that has a stage that is kind of like this caboose for all the figures. I see this, when I blew up this painting, I had all the figures. They were already there.
Right.
So I was just making it big.
Right.
And seeing what I could get out of it. And later I changed 4 figures at the end of that second Idyl I worked. I took the reclining figure out, put another one in. I painted the 2 dancing figures over, and I changed the waving figure in the foreground. So it's ended up much more a different, quite a bit different.
Right.
More solid picture. I can show you the photos.
But in terms of trying to do some spontaneous painting where you just sit down to a blank canvas and see what comes out, this is kind of the one of a kind in that.
Yeah.
In the landscape with figures. Yeah. Don't try to catch lightning in a bottle twice.